So this is the interview with Soe Mra on 28th October 2017. So perhaps Soe Mra, can we start with your, where you were born or when you were born?
I was born the Yangon different hospital in the year 1940 in the month of April.
And can you tell me a little bit about your family life at that time? What did your father and mother do?
My father was in ICS, so in the Indian Civil Service, and we had to move to different places when I was young. As far as I remember, Soe was the last place that he was assigned to, and from Soe he was transferred back to Yangon and appointed as, I think, a deputy secretary in the Ministry of Education. And then he moved to different departments. He was secretary at the Health Ministry, and then Transport and Communication, and that's what I remember. And then he was appointed as Chief Secretary.
So that's being secretary of the ministry is like the number one position.
Yes.
Permanent position.
No, after the minister, there is a secretary.
That's what I mean.
People who runs the show.
Yeah.
Yes.
The top civil servant.
Yes.
And then he became the top civil servant.
Top civil servant, chief secretary.
In what year would that have been? Roughly.
I think around 56. I think 55, 56.
So you were brought up in Yangon for all your childhood?
Yes, I was taken to Rakhine only once when I was about 1 year old, and then after that I grew up in Yangon.
So because the word Mra is a Rakhine, indicates you're from Rakhine State?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Does it have a meaning, Mra?
No. No meaning. But my father had a lot of difficulty because of this name, Mra. That is, the Myanmar people spell it differently. Ma-ya. Actually, you have to spell it Ma-ya-ye. Ma-ya-ye is, they pronounce Mya. So, according to the Rakhine, Ma-ya-ya is Mra.
But the Burmese did not couldn't understand the pronunciation, or what was the issue with the name?
The spelling, because you say Mara. Mara is Ma-ya,
right,
according to them.
Right.
So if you say, my father's name was Shui Mra, so in Myanmar it's Shui Mya. So my daughter also had that difficulty in dealing with the outside people, because her name is Mratida, but the spell is Myatida. So I asked her to put an alias on the back of Myatida, Mratida.
Okay, so you have adopted the Mra as a family name now, or not?
Yes.
Yes.
You will find a lot of Mras in the Facebook, because I think it's because of us. We were the four brothers. We were all athletes in the university, and we always got first, or we even represented for the army, for the Yangon division, as a trainee from the university. There's a university training for the army people there.
So there were four children, 4 boys.
No, altogether 8 boys and 2 daughters my father had. It's a family of 10.
And all survived or didn't survive?
All survived actually. My elder brother, he died 2 years ago. That's Soe Mra. He died 2 years ago. My eldest brother is still living. So I go to his house weekly to have a chat with him.
And so do you have close connections with the Rakhine state? I mean, you've still got family there. Is that why you went back with your father? You only went once? Once.
Yes. And I wanted to know more about the Rakhine people, where my father came from. So actually they put in Bao Do. Bao Do is the township name only. So when I went to Bao Do, U Dan Shui had a name in honor of my father. That is from the helipad to the high school area. The road name is Soe Mra. So he remembered my father and he said, you have to name this Soe Mra road. So his name is still there and Bao Do.
Well, he was the most prominent civil servant in Myanmar, or in Burma, right?
Right.
Yeah. So does that mean that you were brought up really in quite a well-to-do household?
Well, you can't say very well-to-do because my father is a very honest man.
ICS.
ICS. I mean, he's a very honest. He wouldn't stay in a government house, although he could have easily. So my mother bought a house on the Lees Road and the corner of Lees Road and Sheep Road. That's where we grew up. So my father had a lawn. It's about 100 by 50 size. And we had a badminton court at the back of the house, and then we played badminton. And then when we got interested in athletics, I was the pole vaulter in the family. So I'm the 2 times gold medalist in the SEA Games.
Really?
Yes, in 1961 and 65.
The whole Southeast Asian Games?
Yes.
You won the gold medal twice?
Yes, twice. One silver in 1959.
And then 2 gold?
Yeah, and then 2 gold.
So it must have been quite a household growing up with 8 children. Was it 10 children? 10 children?
Yes, 10 children. But at first I thought that I would join the civil service. But when I got my bachelor's degree, there wasn't any post opening for the civil service. So the professor at the economics department asked me to join the department. But for the time being, that was in about 1960. So I worked as a tutor in the economics department for nearly 9 months. And then at that time there were very good offers from Stanford University and Hawaii University. So the professor asked me, if you just sign it, you are selected. Because I scored the highest in economics at that time, but I decided not to go to a foreign country. I'd rather stay here and become a civil servant like my father. But in the year 1961, there was an opening with good salary in the Burma Corporation Limited. That's besides the UBA. Besides the UBA.
UBA being?
UBA, Union Burma Airways.
Okay.
Okay, yes. So I joined Burma Corporation Limited, and then next year they called for the foreign service, and I didn't apply for it because I want to give my brother a chance. So
why? Because they wouldn't give 2 Mrats?
Yeah, there will be 2 Mras, and probably they will select me because I was known to everybody at the time.
Because of your athletics?
Yeah, athletic, yeah, right. So whenever I go out to different offices and I told them somebody sent me to you, they said, no, I don't know that guy. I know you, then I'll do it for you. So life was very easy at that time.
So go back, if you don't mind, to your childhood when you're growing up with 10 kids in the family. You went to local school. Did you go to one of the private schools, or did you go to government?
First, we went to a private school. It's called Modern Infant School. In fact, the school was right inside the Army Ordnance, where they used, before they moved away, the school was at the Army Ordnance place. So, and later the Army took over the building, so we had to transfer to another building along Fitch Road at the back of the Navy quarters. So after the 4th standard, the private school, they accept only up to the 4th standard. So we applied for the Teachers Training College, that is TTC. It's now rather famous. So, and in our time, there was no brick building there. There was a gymnasium and all, but there were no brick buildings. We had to study in the big size huts at the time.
So all 10 children went to there?
No. Yeah. First, I think 5 of us joined TDC. 5 of us joined TDC. And then there I competed in the inter-schools, and I won the
primary school?
No.
Secondary school?
Inter-school means there's athletic championships for the schoolboys.
Right.
So I competed in the inter-school, and I won the gold there also.
Pole vault again, or?
Yes, pole vault.
That was your speciality?
Yes, speciality. And then in the year 1958, we had to go to Monument for the university sports there. There was an inter-university championships there. It was held at Monument. So I beat the then Myanmar pole vault champion. I beat him. But in the national championships, he beat me again. But there was going to be a meeting with the Thai athletic teams in Yangon, and they had an American coach appointed for the athletic team. So he selected me for the team. So I had to practice under his guidance, and then I beat the Thai champion here in Yangon, breaking the record then also.
The national record.
Yes, the national record. At that time, I became the first pole vaulter who could jump over 12 feet
Wow.
with a bamboo pole at that time.
How did you get into pole vaulting? Pole vaulting would not be very common in Myanmar at that time.
Yeah, it's true, because in TDC, my eldest brother, his classes were the games only about 8 o'clock. So we had to go in the same car. So we had nearly 1.5 hours. So we do all sorts of things. My elder brother, he is a hurdler, and then he high jumps, and then I was looking at the pole vaulter, but his style was not good, and I started practicing pole vaulting. And when my father saw me jumping at the back of the house, he said, "You can move to my lawn." So he arranged everything for us then. From
So
there,
you had a real pole vault in the house.
right,
You had a real one.
real one. But the landing paper is only sand.
Oh. Oh.
Landing paper sand. So
And do you think you partly went into that because your brother was doing hurdles and high jump? You didn't want to do the same thing as him?
no, it's not that. I don't like that. I just wanted to be a pole vaulter, and
And was there an opportunity for you to go on to like the Olympics because you won the Southeast Asian Games?
that was quite young then. But I remember what they invited me to the Universite Games. That's for the students, I think, and those under 21, I think. And somebody told them that I couldn't go because I couldn't get leave. It was not true. They didn't even inform me. So I missed the games in Europe.
Which would have been after after Nay Wing's time, wasn't it? Or,
Yeah,
Was that
that was time, Neville time.
yeah, so
Sorry,
difficult
Neville's
to
time.
travel.
Right.
So going back, so all the children, what did they all end up doing? You know, did all of you, even the girls, get educated as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Amongst the two sisters, one is not working. She's at the Bennett. Her husband is working for Lisa. The younger one, she's actually very good. He works for the postal department. And when Soe Mra was appointed as an immigration minister, Soe Mra asked the telecommunication minister to give Mra, that's my sister's name, to join his department. So the two ministers had an agreement, and then he joined the immigration department. So she joined the immigration department. But after appointment in the immigration department, I think Soe Mra was sick. So she had a lot of difficulty and a lot of rivalry and etc. And she saw all how things were done illegally in that department. So she left the department, and then she started to translate books, English books into Myanmar, and the Myanmar books to English. and then she worked as a translator. Now she's still doing that. So a lot of people from different departments, they go to her to get things done.
She's still doing it.
She's still doing it.
And what about all the brothers? There's lots of them, 8 of you.
Right. Okay. My 3 youngest brothers, we all became doctors because at our time, nobody asked whether you want to be a doctor or you should become a doctor. But afterwards, there came a time when doctors become very popular. So my brother, one of my brothers, Dr. Soe Mra, he's now the president of the medical council, and then he wrote a lot of papers about HIV, AIDS, etc. in Myanmar, and distributed to the people along the border. And the Thais took the book and translated it into Thai language. So he's a famous doctor. He's an MRCP. So that's the number eight brother. And then number 9 brother was, after his graduation, he was assigned to the children's hospital. So the head of that department liked him so much that he was asked to participate in the separation of the twins here in Yangon.
He's a surgeon.
Yes, surgeon. So he became a child surgeon. That's the one. Another one, the youngest, is staying in America. That's Soe Mra. Soe Mra, he's a musician as well as a throat doctor. From here
Chest.
upward.
Yeah, chest, throat, chest.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are
Thoracic, I think they call
Right.
it. Yeah.
because it is very hard for Myanmar to get into this heart or other diseases specialty, so he had to take this.
I'm sure it's a very good speciality.
And other brothers is the one under me is Soe Mra. Soe Mra, you know, Soe Mra is the head of the Human Rights Commission in Myanmar.
Is that right? That's your brother?
Yes, that's my brother. So he joined he's the one who joined the foreign service.
Right.
Right. So in the interview they only asked about Day. So he knows a lot about Day because being my brother, so he knows what I did and how I won the championships, etc., etc. And then he was appointed, not appointed. He stood, I think, 3rd, and they were going to take only 2. And then what happened was the 4th person is he was who later became deputy minister in the foreign office was one of the army big shot's son. So the public service commission said no. If you want to appoint the 4th person, you have to appoint the 3rd person as well. So they agreed to it, and he joined the foreign service. He was a UN ambassador for quite some time, defending the military government. And then when Gambari came to Yangon, the senior general asked by name, where is Soe Mra? So the people were so afraid that he was at that time under LPR, that is a leave preparatory to retirement. So they reappointed him again, and then he went to Nitido for this Gambari.
So that's how many?
That's the eldest joined the shipping in the shipping department, the Myanmar 5-star line, and then the other one, the one who died, he joined the physical and sports department at the Aung San Stadium. The offices at Aung San Stadium.
So your father was ICS,
Yes,
but what about your mum? Where did she come from?
she's from Sideway.
Oh, from Rakhine State too.
So she is one of her great grandfather was Ure Jodu. You know Ure Jodu? Ure Jodu was the first banker and one of the richest person during his time in Rakhine.
Wow.
Ure Jodu. Ure Jodu got sons and he sent them all to study in London.
Including your father.
My
Grandfather.
mother's, my grandfather. So U Chantuan became very famous.
That's your grandfather, or the great grandfather.
Great grandfather.
Grandfather, yeah.
U Chantuan became very famous because he passed with honors in all the subjects. So even the Queen Victoria asked to see this gentleman from Myanmar. So
Really?
yes,
But is that who was the one that was very rich? Was that him? He
His
became
father.
very rich.
His father, yes.
Father was very rich,
yes.
and then he was brilliant academically. The son.
The son, yeah.
Yes. Your grandfather. He was your grandfather on your mother's side.
He cannot be grandfather. So great grandfather.
Great grandfather.
Great grandfather
Okay,
from the mother's side.
Right.
Yes. So my mother studied only up to the 10th standard at the St. John's Convent.
In Yangon.
Yangon.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he must have had a lot of land in Rakhine State.
Yes, Ure Jodu company owned a lot of land, but they were nationalized when the army took over.
But they didn't nationalise private property, did they?
They did. Don't believe what they say.
Okay. So, but your own house, maybe if you had lots of land, they did. But they didn't take away private ownership of your home, did they?
I think they took over it. My mother lived in the area called Pan Len Do. Pan Len Do is a very quite near the beach, and it's very similar houses in that area. I think built by my great and grandfather, Ure Jodu.
So she lost. You're saying that house was lost, nationalised, or
I think it was nationalized. I don't know the details.
right?
but,
So long ago.
Yes. So she's a very good piano player. She plays a lot of piano.
Your mother.
Yes.
But she's passed away, surely.
Yeah, she passed
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
She's a very good piano player.
But you obviously have brains on both sides because your father was ICS, which would be very difficult to get into, and your mother came obviously from a very bright family as well, right? With the great grandfather being the one that was presented to Queen Victoria. But your father, so both of them were Rakhine. Your mum
Yes,
and
Rakhine.
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Okay. Okay. And the language you spoke at home was only English and Burmese, or did you speak Arakanese or?
My father didn't encourage us to speak in Rakhine. So we spoke only in Myanmar and sometimes in English.
Right. Am I wrong to call the language Arakanese? It's Rakhine, not
Rakhine.
Arakanese.
Arakanese is the word introduced by the British.
Okay. Okay. Rakhine is the language.
Yes, Rakhine is the language.
Okay, so now let's come up to where, so you finished high school, went to university and did economics, is that what you said?
Yes.
At University of Rangoon?
Yes.
Okay. And you finished that, and the question is what you're going to do, and you then started, you taught, what did you do then? You taught economics?
For 9 months as a tutor.
Right. And then what happened?
And then I joined the Burma Corporation Limited.
Right. Doing
Then
what?
Burma Corporation Limited as a trainee actually. So in 1965, it was nationalized.
Yeah.
So I became a Myanmar civil servant.
Right.
So at the time of nationalization, I had to go to Namtu with the nationalization team.
And you stayed in that company? How long did you stay in the company?
Quite a long time. I think it was nearly 13 years in that company.
So 65, no, it's earlier, to 78? Roughly?
Roughly around 76.
Okay.
76,
Okay.
yeah.
And then what did you do?
And then they didn't have according to the manpower planning, the person who is above me, he didn't want me in the office because he was afraid of losing his position. So to get to the higher position, I'll have to wait for another 5 years. So there was an opening at the Planning and Inspection Department under the Ministry of Mine. So I applied for it and I was selected. Actually, the post was created for the person in the department, but when it was put up to the ministry, the minister said, "I know this guy. Who is that guy?" So, and then if you compare the education qualification, mine is better because I studied DMA, that is a Diploma in Management and Administration at the university, and I got 5 distinctions when I passed that subject. And I had a law degree, which I had to attend, which I attended. I finished the first year around 1961, 62, I think. And
Around
then,
21. So you did law and economics at the same time, or?
no, law, economics, I finished in 1960.
Right.
Right, yeah. But during the tutorship days, I could attend the first year.
But you went straight on from doing economics to doing law.
Right, after in between there was this tutorship thing.
That's right. And what the tutorship thing, and then you did law for what, 4 years?
No, only 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, to get a law degree.
Because it's postgraduate, I guess is the reason.
Yes, postgraduate. I was doing a lot of practicing and training at that time for the games. But I passed, I think my position was 11th amongst the law graduates that year.
For the country.
Yes, for the whole country.
Yeah.
That is without even studying properly.
So, okay, so because 1962 you said that's when you did the games too, right? Yeah, so when you finished law, you were also training and doing your pole vaulting.
Yes.
Which is why you had no time for study. So when you moved into the Ministry of Mines, were you going in as a lawyer or going in as an economist?
No. When I joined the inspection department, I joined there as an economist. And then from that department to the ministry, I think it was around 76, 77, I think. They informed me around midnight saying that I've been appointed as the head of office. You know, previous to this government, the person at the ministry, according to the new administrative system, was they don't call it secretary, call it head of office of the ministry. So I was then the youngest head of office in all the ministries. I was then.
For this was for the inspectorate,
from the inspectorate to the ministry.
Right. So you became secretary of the ministry.
Well, say you can say secretary, but they call head of office.
Okay.
Right.
But like in your father's time, it would be called secretary.
Yes.
So you were only in your 30s or 20s?
Yes, only. Yeah. I remember 36, 37. I was around that age.
Right.
Right.
Very young.
Right. In that year, Kha became the prime minister, and when I went to report to him, the deputy secretary had already retired, and then there was this assistant secretary. The assistant secretary, so he didn't want to work under the ministry anymore. So the Kha asked me whether I could take over the office without being properly transferred. So I said, no problem. So the next day, the other guy left without telling me anything. Yeah. So I was put into the river, either sink or swim position. Yeah.
What was that? Is that 76 or 77?
Yes,
or?
around 76, 77.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then what happened?
76, 77. After, during that time, I went to Australia once to Mosman training school, civil service training.
We talked about that.
Right.
Down Balmoral, just part of Mosman.
Yes.
Very near where I used to live.
And then
that was part of AusAid or something like that.
yes, AusAid, yeah.
Yeah.
AusAid, yeah.
So someone of your seniority went for training. You were secretary, basically, right?
Yes.
Head of office, head of
Yeah.
So wow, okay.
Actually, they should have sent me for law training or other trainings, but the minister, just for the sake of sending me abroad, he sent me to Australia.
For how long were you there?
7 weeks.
7 weeks.
Only, yeah. Then I came back, and then worked for 4 years at the Ministry.
Of Mines.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the Ministry of Mines.
As still head of whatever. What's it called? Head of
office.
Head of office.
Head of office. So I had to do everything, prepare the cabinet papers and everything, etc.
Did you enjoy that?
No, I don't enjoy it, but I took up as a challenge because during my tenure of office, head of office, no case from the Ministry of Mines were turned down by the cabinet.
Meaning all your submissions were
Yes,
accepted.
you have to be very thorough. Even the spellings. If the spelling is wrong, then they will point this out and then say, hey, your spelling is wrong, take this back. So the minister say, okay.
Was he that much into detail? Ne Win was into detail?
Yes, into detail.
And his English was good enough?
Yeah, quite good enough because once, before they gave the copper mine to the Yugoslav, the minister put up the contract to him. and he said something to the minister to put in something. So the minister called me and said, Univa told me to put a clause. It's called friendly cost or something like preferential. Actually, it's a preferential treatment. So I told the minister, I think he must have meant preferential treatment. So the minister said, yes, yes, yes. According to the minister, he said, you have to put in a clause called pre-friendly clause. Pre-friendly clause. So I studied economics and I knew then that must have meant preferential treatment clause. So I said, I even pointed out the section where it should be inserted. And then he took back to General Newell, and General Newell said, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You asked me whether I enjoy it. I enjoyed it in the sense that you could do something. During my time, when we sent for remarks from the Attorney General's office, sometimes the remarks were not correct. So during my time, so I told one minister at the time that this comment is wrong. So the minister looked it up and then he challenged the Attorney General in the cabinet. So I wasn't afraid of the army guys or the other, because my father's been the chief secretary, and we were trained in such a way and not to be afraid of. And you have to speak up. Yes, you have to speak up when something is wrong.
That came all the way through from your father.
Yes, from my father.
And what about, obviously integrity was another thing that he preached? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So how did you handle working in, any ministry at that time? Obviously, there were, we would now say, unethical practices. Did you get put in difficult positions often?
No, not during my time. Maybe the deputy minister and the minister, but not me.
So what happened with your career then? Because you were 36 when you became secretary.
And then 40 when I joined the number 2, I was transferred to number 2 mining enterprise. And
as lawyer or as no, not as lawyer.
No, I was put in the planning department.
Right.
And then I didn't have to do much, but there was a problem in the World Bank Finance Intensive Inspection Project, and I was appointed as project director, so I had a lot of experience, and the consultants, they liked me because I could do things for them, so they liked me. And then the previous managing director, he didn't do certain things as required by the World Bank. So the World Bank said when they asked for extension of the loan period, the World Bank refused. So you haven't even completed the manpower planning and the management information system. You will not extend the loan. So I wrote the manpower plan and the other thing, just I mentioned. And the World Bank accepted it. So we got the extension for the loan. And I even wrote the project completion report.
When it was finished?
Yes.
Yeah. And then what happened? Then what happened after that in your career?
After that, and then from that planning, I was asked to take over the planning, so I had to do 2 departments. One is the procurement department and one is the planning department. And then later on, in the procurement department, I saw a lot of anti-banking business that was going on in the
Yeah.
department. So the minister actually transferred that guy who was a mining engineer to Pimana. So I had to take over it, and then there was a negotiation between Japan and a Japanese company. So I finished that negotiation. At the time, the financial year was 30th September. Like they are now trying to change it back to that period again. So I finished that day, and then things were quite okay in the planning department, and then and in the procurement department. And then the minister, he asked me to join the administration department. So I had to take over I was in charge of two departments, one administration and the one in procurement.
What year are we now, roughly?
Around, I think, 1990s, I think.
Right.
Right. 1990s. So I think he did that to me because I asked to get transferred from the ministry to the number 2 mining enterprise.
To go back.
No,
To go
to
from number
transfer from the head of office to
Yeah.
the number 2
Yeah,
mining
that's what I
enterprise.
understood you mean.
So the actually the army people later told me that you shouldn't have asked for a transfer because they don't like it in the army. So even I think that was the reason he kept my promotion pending. But what happened was General Navy goes to Ela. Ela is near Navy Road. So he looked at the plant there, metallurgical plant and training center there. So Navy said you must buy all the refining equipment, and they made out a list, and then they were negotiating it, but they couldn't finish it. So General Navy was very angry and asked Utanje, hey, where are the equipments that I asked you to buy? So the minister got frightened, and then he came over to the number 2 mining enterprise and sat in the meeting room. And then we were at that time negotiating the thing, and the Director General of that department went down to the minister and talked with the minister, and he left the Japanese with us, and the project director of that department said, he asked me for help, so please lead the discussion. So I finished it in 5 minutes. I finished it in 5 minutes. So he went, the Director General came back, it was already done. So this Sunday the minister got very happy, and then he asked me, is your promotion due? When is your promotion date? I said, long overdue. So he told the deputy minister who came along with him, said, put his promotion in the next meeting, and then don't ask number 2 mining enterprise to put up the case. You put it up, and then I got promoted. Right? That was only as a deputy director at that time.
What year are we now? 1990.
Around 1993-4.
Right.
Right.
And when did you get Director General? When did that happen?
Okay, first I had to be promoted as a director.
Right.
So
Because you were Deputy Director at this point.
yeah, I was deputy director. So when this Wu Min, Brigadier General, Senior Brigadier General, one of the Senior Brigadier General, was appointed as a minister, there was no person to properly translate and act as an interpreter.
In the whole ministry?
Yes, in the
Wow.
ministry. So they asked me to do it for the minister. So So I got quite close with the minister. When this promotion thing came up, I told the minister that this promotion thing will come up. He said, "Don't be afraid. You get promoted," he said. So I got to be director. And then after working about 1 year as director, the ministry told me that I've been appointed as Director General.
Who was Deputy Minister then?
Union Day.
It was Minten.
Also, yes, it was.
Because he was 14 years or something there.
Yeah. I was really surprised because I am just up to that time, only military personnel or a mining engineer or geologist could become
Director General.
Director General or Managing Director.
Yeah.
But I was appointed as the Director General
When was that? Do you remember roughly?
around 1998, I think.
Yeah, because he was. Yeah, that's when it was one. He was the sole Deputy Minister at that
Yes,
time.
he was the sole minister, Deputy
From
Minister.
1996.
The other Deputy Minister, Lai.
Correct. Left.
Yes,
Yeah.
left.
So,
And the minister didn't want to appoint another Deputy Minister.
so is that when you became friends with Min Tien back in '96 or whatever it was? Or,
You mean Union Day?
you meant that? Yeah.
No, I knew him back in the States and when he was a Deputy Director in the Industrial Minerals Department.
Oh, okay.
Right. I even had to investigate one case during that time, and then when I got to the ministry, the minister asked me to study the whole project about the copper project, how it was negotiated, how it was done, and then etc. And then the minister went and explained to General Tan Shui at that time.
Tan Shui seemed to take great interest in many different things, right?
Right.
Would call for reports on, you'd think this is too, like, he wouldn't have to hear this, but he was interested.
Yes, he was interested. Yeah. It's really very surprising because to get to the position of Director General or Managing Director, Kim Yon, and then Tan Shui and Mao Wei, three of them have to agree.
Yeah, Kin Yun being intelligence,
Yes.
Meng A being head of the army, and Qin Shui being the commander-in-chief, as it were.
Right.
So it had to be approved by all three for,
Yeah.
for senior appointments in the ministry.
Yeah. You know, how I got involved in this law thing is when I was in the administration department, a lot of negotiations were being done at the Ministry of Mines, and they put me as one of the members of the negotiating team. So I read the contracts very properly, and then I had to argue. I was the one who argued with the foreign lawyers. You know, foreign lawyers, they think they knew a lot about laws in Myanmar. But when I argued against it, they had to agree. One lawyer even asked the headquarters whether he should agree to what I proposed. And this gentleman at the States said, okay, agree to it. It's okay, he said. So I got a lot of experience from negotiations with the foreign lawyers, and I drew up most of the laws in the ministry. Before the laws, there were other sort of arrangements between foreign parties and Myanmar side. You know, the supply credit basis.
Yeah.
We had to do only supply credit basis during the U Nguyen's period. He wouldn't let us enter into a joint venture agreements.
Yeah.
So from that time I got interested. I read a lot of books, and then I was asked to join the team from Myanmar. That was the UN gave aid for a team from the energy division to go to different oil producing countries.
Different what?
Oil producing
Okay.
countries, different
Okay.
oil producing
Okay.
countries. So Mamao King at the time, he said 2% from the ministry of mine should be included. I was one of the members. But as soon as I got there, I knew that while it's something different, they have the standard form of contracts.
Yeah.
And it's rather very easy for them actually, because there were many precedences. But for the mining industry, the managing director gave me the contract of work book. So I said something is missing. There must be another contract. Before we sign the contract of work. So I asked for appointment with the two director generals of the Indonesian department, and the director from the general mining department. He agreed to see me, although I think it was the Sabbath day for the Muslims.
Yeah.
So I asked him bluntly.
You went to Jakarta.
Yes. So whether there's another contract. He said yes. So could you please give me a copy? So he said his staff are not here. So he said he will send it to me. So he sent it to me. I studied different laws from different countries. I even went to the ASCAP library and took half a day to look at the books
What they have.
that I should read. And they provided me all the books. And then I had difficulty in carrying back the books and papers
From where?
from Bangkok to
Oh.
Yangon. So there was a guy called Piha. He was the nephew of U Nguyen. So he put VIP on the boxes, and then I got through without paying any money.
And then what happened then? When did you retire as director general?
Okay, my retiring age was actually, you knew that 60
Yeah.
is the retiring age. At the time of retiring,
That would have been 2000.
yes, 2000. So I think it was Kim Yong who said to put up my case for extension. So let's put up for extension.
Did you want it extended? Did you want to keep going?
There was nothing to do, so I said okay. So got extended for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and in the 5th year, the minister didn't include my name for extension. So Kenyan said, why did you put this Soe Mra in the list? Put it up immediately. So the minister had to follow his instructions.
So does that mean that you continued after?
Up to 2005, I worked until 2005.
Wow.
That's why my total service 4 to 5 years.
It is. Wow, that's quite a time. I'm just seeing how long it was. So 2005, you were then 65, I guess.
Yes,
65. And what have you done since then, since 2005?
I did some private consulting work.
Right.
Somebody comes and he was recommended by a person I know. I joined there. I joined him for that period, and during that time I went to Singapore, China. Singapore and China.
Mining deals? Mining?
Yes, mining and electric power teams. Electric power teams in China. Yes.
And you're still doing that now, or you got involved with some of the mining stuff, didn't you? Still.
The trouble is, they are not following the laws here, so it's very difficult. One company asked me to do a loan deal. A loan deal, that's
Yeah.
you draw up the contract for the loan. So I said I could draw up the loan agreement for you, but according to the other party, they want an assessment by one of the auditors. Excuse me. So I told them that the auditor will ask quite a lot of sum for this. So they said that the mining regulations are still not out yet, and then a lot of things, and then it disappeared. So for the electricity deals, it's very difficult to deal with the Chinese. They don't know the subject, and then they want a lot of money.
They want money for providing the power.
No, in the contracts, there were a lot of hidden costs that the government had to give. And then I left out one day. During that time, Aung San Suu Kyi was asked to investigate the Labrador mine.
Yes.
And after the environmental study, she couldn't continue. That's what I heard. And then she was looking for somebody who knows about all these contract deals in ministry. And this guy, Jordan Sui, who is with her now, phoned me up and said, the lady wants you to help her with the contract. So I said, you have to give me a letter from the office, otherwise I'll be in trouble with the military people. So he sent me a letter, and then as here in Myanmar, they think very highly of some people who has a doctorate or an MSc or whatever in law, but so they included one lady from the university. So actually, I was the one who asked all the questions to the military guys. So it's a very bad team. So I pointed out all these the weak points and what had to be changed, etc. And then at the final meeting, the head of UMEHL came, and the lady also came. So she after only a few words, she pointed directly at me. Please, could you please explain to this gentleman about it? So I had to do everything. So I pointed out all their mistakes. Was really very bad, really very bad. And then later on, that's why when that report came out, Aung San Suu Kyi was asked not to continue because they were afraid with me in there that all their secrets will get, So they replaced her with Platon, who was the finance minister, I think, at that time.
Ulatun,
Platon.
the accountant?
No, not the accountant.
No.
No, not the accountant, the one, the military
Okay.
person, yeah. So, and then they sounded out whether I would like to continue. So I said there are a lot of lawyers in Yangon, and you could even ask the Ivanhoe lawyer for this. But they were so afraid that they asked Dr. Tun Shen, he was the Attorney General, which is a very wrong move, I think, because you don't include an Attorney General to go through this negotiation process. It was a very wrong move. And then the final report that they sent out, and what they declared to the people was all rubbish. I didn't want to say anything anymore because I could get into trouble. So
Not now, though. So is there anything else that you can think of that we've forgotten to talk about in your life? Like, in your life, any key moments, key things that you think we haven't spoken about?
there were many key moments, but I don't keep the evidences. The one was I told you that when you join the procurement department, you have to deal it only on behalf of MEIC
Yeah.
at the time. So we had to sign for it on behalf of MEIC. In my time at Oregon, I handled one case that finished very quickly. So this French company wrote to the number one mining enterprise saying that we should have more people like me, then it would be very good for trade with Myanmar. So I kept the copy, and then later on I forgot about it, and there were many close. There were a lot of difficulties also because our deputy minister Utante, he was not appointed in the central committee.
Right.
Central committee. So the other guys who were in the central committee, they wanted to, bully him. Note of exchange with different countries like Japan or other countries. They were mostly done by the Foreign Economic Relations Department. But when Utane asked the DG to negotiate that for him, he said, "No, I will not do it. If you can do it." So I was asked to negotiate it. So
Which you did.
which I did, and then I got the lot. and then signed it. This ILA project was all done by me. And then there was one project on which I had to negotiate with the ADB people. But when I read the report, it said the project is not viable at the very beginning. So I told the people at the department that the managing director must have put up something else saying that it's so viable, and then asked me to negotiate with the ADB people. I had to deal with a Pakistani. Yes, you know. He asked a lot of difficult questions, and then
And who was he acting for? Who was he acting for? The Pakistani?
ADB.
ADB, oh
The
yeah.
ADB. So I could answer everything, and then he said it's okay. Then we'll have the final loan negotiation agreement, official final loan negotiation agreement in Manila. So when that date came, the managing director took his old man, and then I didn't have to go. But that project didn't materialize because before signing the agreement, the minister asked all the geologists, and they were sitting around the table, and then the minister said, I have to decide whether to take the loan or not because it's already been agreed by ADB. So you geologists must guarantee that there is that certain amount of ore reserve as mentioned in your reports. So nobody spoke up. So the minister said, if you are not confident about your reports, then I will cancel the ADBT. And he did it.
He cancelled it?
Yes, he cancelled it. And from that day onwards, we didn't get any money from ADB. So there were times like that.
Yeah.
Then the project that me and they had to handle, the King Lear process at Menu. Did he mention it? He was the project controller. That contract nearly
Collapse?
nearly collapsed, yes. Nearly collapsed because the leader of that team asked for more money. You know, the agreement was about to be signed, and we were about to put up to the cabinet.
Yeah.
And then he asked for more money. So I think it was also General Nevin's time. So the minister, instead of asking the people concerned from the number 3 meeting, the minister called me and said, hey, Chilo Bao, let me say, can you please handle this? So I said, okay. So I checked through the
Subject to. Can you handle this subject to?
Yeah. So I look up the reasons given by the Mr. Sofrido, I think he was an Italian, and I found one mistake there. So I asked to speak to Mr. Sofrido, and I told him that you are asking too much. The people at the top, they want you to stick to the original agreement. So
What did they say to that?
he said, no, it's quite reasonable because the prices are going up, etc. But I have to point you out that in your calculation, you made a mistake. Please refer to line number 3 of page so and so. So he said, give me 15 minutes. In 15 minutes time, he rang back and he said, instead of taking 0.5% more, they will now do it for a 1/4% only.
Wow.
So the minister took this to the
Cabinet.
now the Unime,
Right.
and then he said, okay, he said, do it. And that's how this project came into being. Right. There were those moments, last minute moments, you know.
Well, I
And then sometimes you have to be brave, and then you have to talk to the ministers. Otherwise,
the ministers
if you
make
don't
the
talk to the minister, or if somebody is wrong, like the one case I mentioned, the Attorney General's office, they made a mistake, and I pointed that out to him.
But does that mean that it's more difficult dealing with the ministries because, other people, because a lot of them don't have any idea of what they're actually doing?
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
You know, there's pearl business in Myanmar.
Is there some issue at the
Pearling.
moment? Pearling, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not the issues, but at the very beginning, the Japanese guys, they went around to nearly every ministry, and then they complained that they don't know anything. And then he went to Ms. Ulaton, the accountant, and then accountant wrote a brief for them. And they didn't like it. So somebody took them to me. So I explained to him the situation and how it could be done. And they did it accordingly. And the pearl agreement was signed. That was why we have a growing pearl industry in Myanmar. But nobody will give me credit. They will just say, we did it.
That's normally the case for lawyers.
Yeah.
No credit.
Right.
Yep. Thank you very much. I think we can stop, I think, because
Right.
I've got plenty. Thank you very much.
You got plenty.